All right, been a minute since I did one of these. Oh, special cameo. What's up? Yeah? Been a minute since I did one of these, but I am currently in the process of moving, and so that is a really hectic, situation going on. And I haven't had the time to sit down and record videos. I've been doing mostly live streams recently. Definitely keep an eye out on the channel and catch one of those streams because they're a blast. And I hope to see a lot more of you guys in there because they're a lot of fun. But today, I actually found the time to sit down and make a video. We're going to be listening to this Cochise album, Benbow Crescent. This was a special request. People have been donating $30 with album requests, and I am going to be getting to them in the order that they come in. And so I have quite a few of these to do, and so you can expect quite a number of reactions dropping on the channel real soon. So I'm not going to waste any time. I'm just going to jump right into it. 18 tracks. I'm not super familiar with Cochise, so I have no idea what to expect, but I'm hoping this is great. So with that said, let's get to it. Starting off with this energy already, wow. I mean, you can't fault me for this, but the Playboi Carti comparison has to be made, okay? I know that Cochise fans are going to be like, oh, he's nothing like Playboi Carti or whatever, but I mean, the comparison has to be made. I mean, listen to this, As somebody who's not familiar with Cochise at all and has heard a number of Playboi Carti tracks, I mean, I don't know who came first, but this sounds similar to that, so that comparison has to be made. It sounds cool, though. I like this vibe. I like the energy. I like the melodic, higher pitched vocal take on this, but I think it's a fun track so far. Yeah, I'm not mad at it, but I do have to compare it to Playboi Carti because it would be disingenuous, not to. Real fast flow, huh? Not bad. Flow switch up here is dope. Love these new melodies, man, for the switch up. Oh, this is a cool vibe, bro. Yeah, so I prefer the beat for Creatine, but I prefer his energy on Protein. I feel like his really fast-paced flow, but that was still in the pocket, and flow switch-ups were really on point on Protein. But that beat for Creatine was so fire with those little melodies in the background. It had a great bounce. I love the 808 choice there. It's a really cool track. It's a really cool pair of tracks, I guess, it's 2 in 1. But yeah, both of them have their positives and their pros and their cons. I definitely think that a fusion of the two would have probably been ideal. A cooler, more melodic beat with that really dope, hard-hitting performance would have been insane, I think. But it's still a really cool opener. Plasma. This sub bass is cool. I would have preferred an 808 that hits a little harder. It's not bad though. Cool flow. I feel like the drums are a little quiet in this mix, man. I like what he's doing with his vocals. I could have just used some more volume from the drums. Yeah, his performance was really dope. Loving the flows, loving the actual melodies he's singing. I think his voice sounds great. I just would have loved some more volume from those drums, man. And the sub bass, I would have preferred for it to be an actual 808. It would have hit a little bit harder. I think that the sub bass and the lack of a kick just left a little bit of oomph lacking in that beat. Totoro. Yeah. Fire. Like that little delayed drop. Yeah, and I'll bring the bass back in and I'm good. Oh, man. The beat should have dropped back there. I didn't need another 4 bars. It's still dope, man. It's still dope. This is a playlist track. Super catchy. Yo, and the synths in the background that kind of slide into the chords that they're playing, they're super cool. They remind me of like some like Mario Kart, sort of like melodies, man. Those really old school little Nintendo games, they remind me like that, of that sort of a style. Really nice. Yeah, so far he's managed to sound like a really crazy fusion of like Playboi Carti and Don Toliver almost. Not in terms of his flow, but just the way his voice actually sounds. There was some parts of that last track where his voice sounded a little bit like Don Toliver's. It kind of reminded me of him. Really interesting. You know, if he continues to play around with his vocals, I'm sure he could take his music into a lot of different lanes and still find a way to make it work. Because if you're a versatile, you know, performer, you can really do anything, man. And that's something that I always love to see from these newer guys, from the newer generation of artists, is just how versatile they can really become. You know, I like it when guys experiment a little bit and try to do something different with their vocals instead of just constantly making the same song over and over again. You know what I mean? So I think that, you know, I mean, if these last 3 tracks are any sort of indication, he could definitely switch up, you know, his style and still sound great. I'm certain. That last track, I think, is the first playlist track of this album. Really catchy, love the beat, like his performance a lot. That's a great track. What is this? Usopp? Is that how you say it? Track 4. Look at those melodies in the background. Da-dun, da-dun, dun, da-dun, dun, da-dun, da-dun, dun. That's such a simple little melody, but it's immediate. It's gonna get stuck in your head. And the sound design for it was really cool. It's got this like shimmering sort of a little bell, kind of like a lead quality to it. That's really cool. It's got a little bit of a slower tempo too. Great bounce. Playlist track. And I love that these songs have all been on the shorter side, man. I love short tracks. You know, when they're like this and they're just like fast-paced, sort of like fun songs, just keep them short, man. Give me like that quick fix of energy and then just like move on to the next one. You know what I mean? If you're not gonna make music that's super introspective and you're not gonna make music that's got like a really deep sort of a meaning or a message to it, and you're just out here having fun with what you're doing, keep your tracks on the shorter side. You know what I mean? They're going to be really easy to listen to. They're going to be really fun. And it's going to be really easy for people to just listen to a bunch of your tracks in quick succession. This is really cool. Yeah, I like that last one a lot as well. It also made it onto my playlist. Track 5 has Lost It. Yo, the production on this album has been so fire. All the synths sound so good. Yo, the chords, dun 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 dun. It's such a simple little like 2 or 4 bar loop, but when you pair that with the pads, when you pair that with the little synth leads and the sound effects that you're adding in the drums with the perks, it's like it's an addictive sort of like a beat. You know what I mean? Pierre Bourne, I'm gonna credit him with sort of like making this style popular, but man, is it like it's like the sugar rush of the beat, you know, the production like world. It's so addictive. It's so sugary, and like you hear one beat and you're like, that sounded great. I need more of it. You know what I mean? Which goes back to what I was saying of like wanting to listen to a lot of these tracks in quick succession. It's like a quick rush. You know what I mean? You just need more and more and more of it. Sounds dope. Came in with some bars there though. Came up from nada, now I rock Prada, hand of God, Maradona. That, you know, it's not insane, but it's also not. It's not like he's just saying nothing. You know, this is cool. Man, he's using this beat perfectly, dude. I love this flow. Yo, that's 3 playlist tracks in a row. He's on a really solid roll right now. I'm enjoying the hell out of this album so far, dude. Really sugary beats. Super cool, bubbly, like poppy, kind of generally happy sort of a sound. Great vocal performances. Really, really catchy flows and melodies. Like this is, and the tracks are short. This is exactly what I'm looking for. If I'm just looking to have fun with what I'm listening to, something that's a little bit on the superficial side of things, but still super enjoyable, this is like spot on. Track 6, On Me. Really like the synths, don't like the 808 on this one. Love the synths on this, man. Drums are dope. I just wish he had a heavier 808. His voice sounds different, man. It's already a different sort of a performance. Nah, those synths are so crazy. Dope ad-libs too. Fire track. Would have loved for like a punchy, sort of hard-hitting 808. you know, they went for the smoother 808 for this one with that Pierre Bourne kick. I think the drums sound fire. I love how they did the synths on this one. The melodies go crazy. I like that his vocal performance was a little different on this one. It wasn't that higher pitched, super heavy auto-tune one. Yeah, I just wish that the 808 were a little different, a little heavier, and maybe the track were like 30 seconds shorter. I would have preferred that as well. Still not a bad song. It really isn't. We're about a third of the way through this album. I'm going to get up, stretch my legs a little bit, and we'll keep going. Hi. I'm not done yet. I'll be done soon. Okay? I'll be done soon. Track 7, Zorro. Yeah. Fire. Oh, I love how when the kick came in, the melodies got all glitchy. Playlist. Fire, bro. Yeah, that's another playlist track. I love that when the kick first dropped, the melodies got all glitchy. It wasn't just like adding a kick to the beat, but also switching up the melodies a little bit, adding something different to the track that even if someone doesn't realize it on the conscious level, subconsciously they're going to feel that something beyond just the drums have evolved here. And there's that sense of progression with that, you know, with that change up. Really cool. Cochise has been flowing on these beats, man. He's been doing a really cool job as well at making these tracks entertaining and making them really solid all the way around. Track 8 is Nyx. It looks like it's one of the most played tracks off this album. So either it came out way before all the other ones, or it sounds really crazy, and I need to hear it. Man, these Tamagotchi type beats are great, dude. Man, I like the pads too. Drum switch up here with more claps. Flow switch up. Love the sound effects. That laser sound effect is so dope. Fire, bro. Playlist. Quite a number of playlist tracks on this one so far, man. I'm having a lot of fun with these tracks. Like I've said before, keeping them on the shorter side and just choosing your beats really nicely and being able to flow on them consistently, you know, and bring in catchy melodies. I mean, it's so easy to just fall in love with a lot of these tracks and come back to them so many times, dude. That last one was really catchy. I like the way that he incorporated, you know, the basketball teams in there. I thought that was really cool too. Sanji, starting off with crazy energy already. Okay, switch up here. Let's go. Fire. The little flute. That little flute sounds like a Thomas the Train Engine whistle. I have a feeling a lot of you guys are gonna disagree with me on this one, but I don't like this 808. It is a really different 808. It was a bold choice to include it, and so I'm certain that for a lot of you guys, it's one of the reasons you enjoy the track. I can understand why you enjoy it. Because it is a risky move, and I'm sure that a lot of people appreciate it for that reason. I just don't think it matches really well with the vibe of the rest of the production. I would have preferred a deeper sounding 808, but I can appreciate the willingness to experiment. I really can. That, you know, I like that the producer here was not afraid to take a bold choice. So yeah, that's how I'll put it. He's been going with this flow for a minute now, huh? I would have loved to hear him switch it up. Yeah, I'm not mad at this track. I would have preferred a different 808 here, but I do really like the soaring sort of like synths in the background. They remind me of like a really busy cityscape at night with all the neon lights, you know, as it rains, so that all the neon lights are shining from above and reflecting off the ground, the wet ground too. Like everything about this just screams like nighttime, but like illuminated artificially with like fluorescent, you know, neon lights and different colors and stuff like that. Like this is the sort of vibe that I'm getting from here. But I think towards the middle, he kind of found a pocket or a flow that he liked, and I think he lingered there just a little too long. I would have liked to hear a switch up, you know, I would have liked to hear him explore a different sort of a flow, just because it got a little bit repetitive. That's okay, you can't win them all, right? Muri slash Kami. Love these melodies. Wow. Here's the switch up. How do they do this? Wow. There is a lot going on in the melodies, and it's very high pitched. Oh, these keys sound pretty, bro. I like the arpeggios, but when they go really high pitched, it gets a little squeaky. I got sensitive ears, bro. I can't deal with the extremely high pitched stuff. When those arpeggios go all the way up and sound squeaky, it's a little harsh. But when they drop out, and I'm talking about the second half, Kami. But when they drop out and all we have are those like really soft keys with the 808s and the drums, man, I love that part. It's just like blissful, you know, after that really chaotic transition with all of the melodies going on at once and before the arpeggios come back in towards the latter half of the track. Man, that one moment of just peace is really, really cool. Yoga Fire Freestyle. I love this beat. The stereo shaping they did for the melodies was dope. There's an interesting sound effect they chose that's panning back and forth. It sounds like a single bongo hit. It's kind of quiet, but I think it adds something. I don't know about this performance right here, but the beat's fire. This melody is so sick, dude. Oh my god. Yeah, this track has highs and lows, you know. There was that one point when his vocals kind of sounded really strained that I wasn't really into. But for the most part, I think the beat itself is fire all the way through. I think they did a lot of great work with those synths and choosing the percussion on this track. His performance kind of varies a little bit, which is cool to hear him be a little bit more versatile, but I just really think that strained kind of performance delivery didn't really work for me. Later on, he started singing a little bit more, and that kind of brought it back, but that middle part was a little iffy. Buff. If I'm being honest, I don't think this one's a memorable track. I can't see myself kind of coming back to this one as often as some of these other tracks, to be honest. It's just not my cup of tea. I don't think this one's really for me. I don't want to hate on it. I think it's interesting. Again, I appreciate it for being different. I like that he's not afraid to kind of experiment a little bit, but this one I just feel like was a miss. Double. Just tweeted about the album. This is cool experimenting. This sounds dope. See, I feel like this one is him also experimenting with a different style, but this is, you know, way easier to listen to than that last one. This one's it definitely sounds better than that last one, and yet it's got, you know, probably the fewest amount of plays of any other track on this album. So, you know, it just goes to show that it really is so subjective. But this sounds better than Buff, I think. Really smooth. Loving those little bells in the background, man. Yeah, it's pleasant. It's short. It sounds dreamy and bright with those little bells in the background and those sort of rising synth pads. I thought that was cool, man. Definitely not mad at that. Going a little bit more into like a, I don't want to say like dance hall or Afro beats. You know, I can't really put a pin on exactly what genre it is, but it's definitely not what we've been listening to so far. So it is different, and I think he did a good job with it still. Track 14. Kuya. These synths always win me over, man. 808's going crazy. Some of the hi-hat rolls are a little iffy, but I'm still liking this bounce. Yeah, I definitely think the hi-hat rolls were a little too hectic. I think they were overused just a little bit. But the 808 and snare bounce was really cool. And he definitely kept the bounce alive with his flow. I feel like the hi-hats at some points were distracting, but there were definitely more highs than lows on this track. It's nice. This is like all. Oh, that was a dope flow. Should have kept that going for another couple bars. Shout out Jesus Christ. That's the bar of the year right there. It's catchy, and we got the best bar that I've heard on this album so far, which was shout out Jesus Christ. I thought that was super creative. It's enjoyable, it's catchy, it's fun. I mean, I can't hate on this at all, man. This is just dope. 100 Smackaronis. It wins because of the title alone. I thought it sampled Nyan Cat for a second. I was like, oh my god. This isn't bad, but it's not great. It's okay. Yeah, that one's one of those tracks that aren't really gonna stick with me. It's not a bad song. It's just, it really isn't as good as some of the other stuff we've heard so far. Blissful Noise. What are these drum sounds? Yeah, this one's... I didn't like the drum sounds. I didn't really like his performance on this one. This one was a little bit of a letdown. I'm not going to hate on it too much, but yeah, it just wasn't for me. The last track is Hatchback. This is by far the most heavily streamed track off this album. I thought at first it was Nick's, but I wasn't able to see Hatchback in the track list at that point yet. So this has got over 100 million plays. I'm hoping this is a great closer for the project. I can already tell, why this one has so many plays. This is probably one of the safer beats we've heard on the project so far. All the drum sounds are the producer didn't go, try and be super different or experimental with the drum sounds. The 808 is pretty safe. It's just this nice, deep 808 with a little bit of a punch to it. The clap is nice and crisp sounding. The synths are not super crazily, arpeggiated. The pads are nice and simple. Everything about this so far just sounds clean, polished, not super, wild or experimental at all. It's a little safer, but it's also, everything about it is extremely well done because of that. So this already sounds really polished. The mix is also one of the cleanest, I think. The synths are super clear. His vocals are front and center, really nice. I do wish they didn't bring the 808, up to this octave for so long. If you've got one or two notes up in this octave to jump back down, like Jetson Maid does it a lot, that's cool. It adds a different kind of a style and a bounce. But when you've got the bass playing, multiple notes, the 808 playing multiple notes in this octave, to me, it just always sounds a little weird. But that's a personal preference sort of a thing. That's what I'm talking about. Look how heavy that hits. That kick just came in, punching me in the gut. Yo, nothing changed. They just added a really punchy kick. That was enough to completely change the vibe of the song. Just make it sound so much heavier, so much bouncier, because the downbeats that have that kick on it now, they hit that much harder. It kind of makes you lean into it a little bit more when you're listening to it. That sounds awesome. I'm so glad they brought that kick in. Loving the slight distortion on that 808 too. Sounds a little fuzzy. I like it. Texture. Counter melodies are great. Very high-pitched little bells in the background. If you pay attention to those are fire. His flow is just relentless. Fire track, bro. Great closer. Loving the energy. Like I said, everything about that sounds super polished. It's probably one of the cleaner mixes we've heard on this album so far. Loving that they brought that heavy kick in because it definitely adds that punch that I thought that some of these tracks was missing. I think the only thing negative I had to say about it was that those couple bars where they brought the 808 up an octave, I thought that was a little unnecessary, but once that kick came in, they didn't do that anymore, and for the rest of the track, it was just vibes all the way through. His flow was super charismatic, very catchy, super melodic, not off beat at all. Loving the really high-pitched, but not harsh sounding bells with the counter melodies. They have that little descending counter melody with the lead. I thought that was really cool as well. The pads and the way that they dip and then come back in a little bit is really cool. A lot of positive stuff to say about this track, which is why it's probably one of the most listened to songs. Yeah, this one is just extremely well done. It's a playlist track, 100%. My first time listening to Cochise, man, I'm not disappointed at all. I had a lot of fun with this one. The album is 41 minutes long, which is pretty solid, although it is 18 tracks. But they're for the most part on the shorter side, like I said, which I really appreciate. A lot of playlist tracks on this one, a lot of really catchy performances, really catchy hooks and melodies, great beat selection all the way through. Whoever was in charge of executive producing this album did a great job. Loving the synths, all the sound design on this was pretty dope, actually. The synths all sound really clean. Those leads, expertly chosen, expertly crafted. Yeah, man, whoever made this knew what they were doing, and Cochise really made the most out of all of these beats. He didn't waste a breath. He had a lot of really charismatic flows and charismatic performances on some of these tracks, man. Yeah, definitely just kind of like, at least in my personal experience, since this is the first that I'm hearing from him, really making a name for himself and kind of cementing himself as somebody who I should be watching out for sure. So if you're a Cochise fan and this is the first interaction you're having with the channel, let me know in the comment section if I should listen to any other albums of his and which ones you would recommend. I had a blast listening to it, man. I hope you guys had a lot of fun watching the video. I appreciate all the support for the channel that you guys are willing to give. So a like, comment, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, catch a stream every now and then. Yeah, man, I'd really appreciate that. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. I had a lot of fun. I'll see you guys later. It's good to be back. Everybody stay safe out there, man. Peace out.